Now let us kind of discuss what is this margin, what margin really means. Let us kind of go to it and kind of explain it through an example, right? So let's look at it. So for example, you want to buy Reliance equity share. So you want to buy 250 shares, and let's say the price is 2002 rupees per share. So to buy 250 shares, you need 5,05,000 rupees, which is 100% of the value of that. So once you pay for that, that shares becomes yours, and you will become the owner of that particular shares. 250 shares, like you are the owner of Reliance to that extent. Now the same Reliance, if you want to buy in derivatives, especially in futures derivative, right? The same 250, which is one lot. Say the current price is around 2004 per unit of futures, and the total contract value will be 5,01,000, similar to that of the equity. However, like in the example what I gave you about hiring a car in the previous video, here again you don't have to pay entire 5,01,000 rupees for the futures derivative. You only have to pay fraction of that, which is just about 22%. So if you just pay around 1,11,000, this is assuming that is the percentage. The percentage keeps varying month on month, right? So now currently, if it's around this much percentage, 22 to 23%, by paying that much, you get the entire kind of right of ownership, not the ownership, right to be a owner, like in the Uber car or the Ola car. If you're kind of hiring any of Zoom cars, Zap cars, if you hire and right, you can, it's like as good as you being a owner. You enjoy that completely. Exactly here, you can enjoy the complete benefit of this particular script, whatever happens, right? So that is the advantage. So here now, if you look at it with respect to equity, your capital requirement is a fraction of it when you trade in futures. This is called as margin money, which needs to be bought in to trade in every single script. Now I want you to kind of also think through this as I'm talking this. If this is the margin money for one lot, what should be your capital, right? So I want you to think big. I want you to think large, like a business owner, right? So if you're getting into the business of stock market, you're not going to be doing a business with 10,000 rupees, will you? Definitely not, right? So it's a clean business which you want to establish so that you become totally financially. If you think from that point of view, what's the capital you want to be bringing in? We're going to be deeply discussing more about capital in the subsequent video, but I want you to start thinking about that. So that is called as margin money. Now let us kind of understand how does this margin money and leverage work when it comes to derivatives, especially futures. Let's kind of take the same example. Say Reliance equity 250 shares. So you bought Reliance equity 250 shares because, say for instance, you feel, you have a view that the Reliance price is going to go up in the next 1 month. That's why you kind of bought, right? So now the same thing you can even do it in derivatives. Let's take both the examples and see what happens. So now if the price of the Reliance equity goes up, in case of equity, you have invested 5,05,000. Same 250 shares in kind of derivatives, futures derivative, you have invested only 1,11,272 rupees. Now what happens? Let's kind of see. So now let's say consider the price goes up by 100 rupees. If it goes up by 100 rupees, the overall your holding value in equity from 5,05,500 goes to 5,25,500, which means you made a profit of 25,000 rupees, which means your return on investment for 1 month is 4.99%, which is 25,000 divided by 5,05,500 rupees. Now, if equity goes up, because equity is the underlying asset for a future derivative, like I told you example of gold ring, if the gold price goes up, gold ring price also goes up. So if equity goes up, futures also will go up, which means what? Here also the price will go up by 100 rupees. If it goes up by 100 rupees, here also your contract value will increase by 25,000 rupees, which means here also you make the same 25,000 rupees profit. But the difference is here, to make the same 25,000 rupees profit, you did not have to bring 5 lakh. You only had to bring 1,11,000, which means your ROI, return on investment, is a big 22.46%. Right? So what I'm saying is, in both the cases, the profits are same. The profits are same, Whereas the capital what you bring in to earn a similar profit is lot different. In kind of derivatives, it is much lower, and that is the power of leverage. So now you have to understand how the leverage works. So now looking at this just from the financial prudence point of view and understanding how the leverage works, which one do you think is better from the capital point of view? Is equity better or derivatives better? E or D? Type in your comments. What do you think? Equity or derivative, right? So I feel my opinion, derivatives are a lot better because I can kind of make the similar kind of profits with the lesser capital. Now, this is one side of the story, which looks all great. Yes, you can make a profit, with a smaller amount. Now, let us see the other side and understand what is the risk. What is the risk? Why do people say that leverage is highly risky, derivatives are highly risky? What is this risk? Is there really risk there? Let us kind of quickly understand that also, because it's very important, because once you understand this, you'll be able to comfortably trade in derivatives. So let us kind of go with the same example. You have bought 250 shares in equity or 250 shares in derivative, one lot in derivatives. Now you bought it because you thought that the price is going to go up, but on the contrary, price went down. If it goes down, what happens? In equity, if it goes down by 100 rupees, you make a loss of 25,000 rupees, which means a loss percentage of 4.99%. Right? Now, if equity goes down, derivative also goes down. Here also you make the same 25,000 rupees loss. However, here your percentage of loss is same 22% in comparison to the percentage of loss in equity, which is 4.99%. So when people look at this percentage of loss, they try to conclude that, oh, derivatives are highly risky because your loss also will be very high. Now, let us look at it slightly different. Now, in this example, both the cases, when it made profit or when it made loss, be it in equity or in derivatives, the value of the loss or the value of the profit, wasn't it exactly the same number, which is 25,000 rupees? Here in this case, in this example, in equity also the loss value was 25,000 rupees and loss value of a future derivative was also 25,000 rupees. Now, 25,000 per se is the same whether a person in equity loses or person in derivative loses, because the worth of the 25,000, the buying capacity of the 25,000 does not differ, be it a derivative trader or equity trader. So now, how can we say that the risk in derivative is higher? Is it just because the percentage is higher, will the risk go higher? No, because your base capital itself is low. If your base capital itself is low, obviously the percentage will look higher. But the risk per se is exactly same whether you trade in equity or in derivative. I would on the contrary say equity is more riskier than derivative to some extent, because now if the market goes down in equity, you cannot do anything. You have to eat that loss. Whereas in derivative, when the market goes down, we can reverse our trade. From a long trade, I can short the market and go with the market and make that money. You will learn that in trend following systems, what we kind of teach you, right? So that's an advantage here rather than it being a risk. I look at it from that angle. So I hope you're kind of understanding what I'm saying. So futures derivatives or any derivative need not be construed as risky. Once you understand this risk, what I kind of just explained, right? It's like saying this, people. If you go on the road, whether you go in a car or in a truck, risk is a risk, right? If you are in a two-wheeler, right? If you go in a car, if a truck comes and bangs you, it's equally risky. If you go in a two-wheeler and if a car comes and bangs you, it's equally risky. And even if you're walking and a bike comes and bangs you, it's equally risky, right? So the risk is inherent. The risk is inherent when you step onto the road. Similarly, the risk is inherent when you step into the markets. But what is important is we have been driving for a very long time, so we kind of completely understand the risk. Now I don't think so practically there is any household in our country where there is no vehicle, which means we have completely understood it. Similarly, there should not be any household in the country who are not in stock market, because I told you in India, which were only 5% in stock markets. We have so much of gap and we have to kind of really capitalize that opportunity. So to conclude, the leverage is really not risky. I hope you kind of got this. Let us kind of quickly summarize these derivatives here. So derivatives are contracts. Derivatives are contracts. They derive their price from underlying asset. They are bought and sold in units. They have a validity of 3 months after which they expire, and it has an advantage of leverage, and margin money is applicable. You can do positional long and positional short. Positional short especially only in derivatives. You cannot short equity, right? And that is the biggest advantage. Hope you kind of understood what derivatives are. I've still not discussed what future is and option is. We're going to come and kind of discuss in the next video. Now, this conversation was mainly for you to understand what is a derivative in its inherent nature. If you kind of got derivative, and if you think it's not at all complex and risky and it's simple, type in the comment, derivatives are simple. Type in the comment, derivatives are simple. Awesome. I'll see you in the next video where we'll discuss about what is the future. See you there.